Now, we've always been told that healthiest meals are made at home, but could packaged food actually be better for young children? A new study thinks it may well be. Researchers from the universities of Aberdeen and Warwick found supermarket meals had less salt, only a third of the saturated fat, and less sugar. But home-cooked recipes had more nutrients, more vegetables, and were more cost-effective. So which to choose? We're joined by Paul Lindley, the founder of organic baby food Ella's Kitchen, and nutritionist Charlotte Stirling-Reed. Thank you both for joining us. I'll start with you first, Charlotte. Are they wrong or right in your opinion?
I think there's certainly something that's correct there, and there's also some things that maybe they haven't quite highlighted enough. So, for example, the home-cooked meal that they're talking about, they're very much based on recipe books, not necessarily what parents are feeding their children at home. So I think that we need to take that into account. But absolutely, there are pros and cons of both, and I don't think it's about one or the other. Yeah. There's a place for both in the child's diet.
Well, considering you're with Ella's Kitchen, Paul, would you ever suggest to anyone that their child's diet should solely be what you offer at Ella's Kitchen?
We'd never say that. Absolutely. I think this report shows that both homemade food and shop-bought food can be trusted. Both of them provide the right density of calories, the right nutrition to have a balanced diet for young children. What I think is interesting is it's easy to think there's people who buy shop-bought and there's people who home cook, but in reality, most of us do both all the time. So between
a lot of people don't always do both.
Most people, 70-something% of all baby food that's eaten is actually homemade, and most people cook homemade food. But what I think shop-bought food can bring is a comfort and an assurity that, you know, brands like ours can only use the highest grade fruit and vegetables, it's baby grade stuff. And there's a regulation, there's a whole regulation that we're bound by, which ensure that there's a minimum amount of proteins and fats, and there's a maximum amount of
and I know
things.
We've got some of your stuff here that you know a lot of the kids do eat. But what's a point that Charlotte does bring up? A lot of it's to do with cookbooks as well. Ella's Kitchen does have one.
Yeah.
So within the books, do you encourage people to do that balanced meal? Do you guide them in terms of what their kids shouldn't be eating, of how much they should be having?
Absolutely. Our whole mission is to improve children's lives by helping them have a healthier relationship with food. That involves knowing how to cook food. So I think there's a place for both. Homemade, where kids learn where food comes from, how to cook it, and they're more likely to eat it if they've been involved themselves. So we've got these cookbooks. We've also got our foods which are more convenient and which often have more variety than people
could argue, and Charlotte, you may well be in this camp, is having this fresh fruit here perhaps is preferable to having the squeezed version that's in that. Would you agree?
Well, I think it's really important that children learn about food and where it comes from and what it looks like. But as Paul's suggesting as well, it's really about a variety. It's about both. The packet foods can be really useful for convenience, but it is so important for parents to also introduce children to what we would refer to as family foods and the flavours and the taste that family are used to, as well as real food, so they can see what it looks like. But again, it's a bit of a mixture.
All right. Well, Charlotte and Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you.